How can we come into love, joy, bliss, ecstasy? Actually, there are lots of different ways to come into the enlightenment. First of all, it's possible that some people don't even come to earth. They stay in the divine. But usually, people come to earth and identify with their earthly personality, and from there, they look for enlightenment. One form of enlightenment is the female enlightenment. That feels like harmony with the whole world and the whole universe, with all living being. And this form of enlightenment is the easiest to reach for inner woman personalities. Inner woman personalities with a relatively healthy inner woman. For them, it's only necessary to relax, for example, or especially with meditation, to enhance their energy and maybe have a spiritual master. A spiritual master will help them. It's not really necessary if they have inside the feeling what to do and how to go on. This kind of enlightenment, and to reach this enlightenment this way, is very common known. If you look into the internet, you will find lots of descriptions how to reach this form of enlightenment, so that I won't say much to it anymore. But if the inner woman is hurt a lot, and even the inner child is hurt too, then it's not so easy. Then it's not enough to do some meditation, enhance the energy, and have a spiritual master without anything doing. Then you need more than this. For this, EMDR is very good. That's the method of choice. It begins in the form that you already know as a therapeutic method. You can use this first, but it's not necessary. When I use EMDR, I begin far deeper with more, or with at the beginning with the divine consciousness. I will use it from the beginning on, but it's not really necessary. You can begin with the therapeutic way too. And then this EMDR, I call it spiritual EMDR then, is this spiritual way of its own, like meditation, increasing energy, hypnosis, and anything else. I will tell you about this later on. This is the most important method for people with an inner woman personality, but with an hurt inner woman. Then there are inner man personalities. They will reach the male enlightenment. The male enlightenment is the divine inside of man. It's that you look inside of you to find the divine. It's the divine man, and the ego will disappear in the self of people. There's the transition into the godly being. I know it's a little bit difficult to explain, but it's even difficult in German too, because there are no words to describe it. And this kind of enlightenment is reached by inner man personalities, and these personalities like to do material arts. Usually they look for them, and that's their way to go through the body with material arts, but there is a problem to it. Usually material arts include the spiritual energy body, the mental energy body and the physical body, but not the emotional body. And therefore, they reach a kind of mastership in, yes, mental profession, even with the divine behind it, and lots of capability in the physical area. But it's something different than what I would call the male enlightenment. The male enlightenment includes the feelings, and as they are heard very much in these inner man personalities, they even have to focus on the feelings to heal them, to get at them at first. And as they begin with the body, it's sensible to begin with the body to reach the feelings too. That means, for example, bioenergetic exercises. If these persons are open for it, then inner child healing. And going on this way, as long as until there are the feelings there that they can reach them. Then you can go on with this spiritual EMDR too. But first of all, the reaching of the feelings must be done. Then they will go on into the male enlightenment. And the third thing is the connection of the female and the male enlightenment. That means the flow of the divine love into men and into the whole personality, into the earthly personality. It means the connection from divine to earth, from woman to man, from the spiritual way to the personality, inside of the personality, from the female part and the male part. It means the connection throughout everything, also the energies. And that's a kind of way on its own, so that you have three ways: one into the female enlightenment, one into the male enlightenment, and one into the connection. And at the end, you need all three of them. What you do first is up to you, and it's decided by your personality. It's not really a choice. You will be leaded into one way first, and then the others come if you want to go on. If you start with this with the third part, with the connection, then it's important to connect the inner woman and the inner man first, and that you will do by healing with therapeutic methods and with methods and exercises that will become them to a team. That's on the earth first, and then you will go on in a more spiritual way. This way is mostly for personalities who have got an inner man and an inner woman that are nearly equal strong, but often they are not good connected. And then sometimes they're in their man, then they're in their woman, and they often change from one to the other. And they have to learn the connection first of their inner parts, inner woman and inner man. And mostly they have to heal their inner child too as the basis. And if this is done, then they can go on in the more spiritual way. And there is only one method that's for this connection from the divine to the earth, and that is what I call the deletion of guilt and living love method. That's the method that I experienced myself. It was that when I was female and male enlightened, I thought I was at the end, but Obviously I wasn't. I was led on, and I went into this method, and I had been told that I should write down everything what I do while I do it. And it really was necessary, because afterwards there were so many small steps one after the other, I wouldn't remember it in the right form. But as I had written it down, and then I had it for others too, and when I did it with my clients, then I found out that it was really step by step, always the same for everybody, because there are principal things in the human psyche that will go exactly this way, step by step. And at each step there are lots of differences, but the steps, one after the other, they all go. And this method is for this connection of the divine to the earth, on the spiritual up to the earthly, on the spiritual level up to the earth. And I will explain more to it because it's so new, but I will do it in another video. First of all, you should know that there are lots of ways to come into this, love, joy, bliss and ecstasy, and everybody has her or his own way, but at the end they will all meet at this aim enlightenment. Every way begins with the first step, and with this you can begin instantly to increase your quality of life. I would suggest to begin with the healing of your inner family.